Disney acquired 20th Century Fox, they got a hold of the Home Alone franchise. Naturally, that means we've got a Home Alone reboot quill coming this weekend. So let's talk about it. Home Sweet Home Alone is a reworking of the original Home Alone, but it is also a continuation of the continuity from the first two films. And Home Sweet Home Alone is a Disney Plus original film. Now, I was born in 1981. That means I was the perfect age when the first two Home Alone films came out. I saw it a bazillion times as a child, and now I have children of my own, and we watch it all the time in our household. Like, we'll watch it in March, we'll watch it in July. So when they announced they were doing a new Home Alone film for Disney Plus, I was actually probably less cynical than most people, and I went into it optimistic that maybe they could do something decent with the material. While it would certainly be a rehash, maybe it would be a little bit of fun. Before I give you my thoughts on it, go ahead and join me down below in the comment section. Let me know, what did you think about Home Sweet Home Alone? And if you haven't seen it yet, what's your take on the fact that they're remaking Home Alone? With that said, let's get started. And probably the best thing about the film is that the three main actors are likable. The kid is cute and can say some funny lines, and our married couple burglars have a likability about them. They can deliver comedy in a way that they're just fun and amusing to see on screen. And then as a Home Alone film, it actually does find some ways to kind of change up the formula. It's really not that much of a remake of the original Home Alone. Certainly you have people trying to break into a house and traps at the end, but the setup, the scenarios with what's going on, the perspective of the story, they do some different things with it. Doesn't work. So let's move on to the bad. And while I can appreciate that they wanted to do something different with the story and not just do a total remake of John Hughes' script, except updated for the 21st century with cell phones and the internet, the new ideas, the different perspective simply is not compatible with what people want from a Home Alone film, which is the kind of that family-oriented vibe of getting back home for Christmas. The family separated and they realize they appreciate each other. And then the third act is this kid setting a bunch of traps where he makes the burglars suffer. That's what you want from a Home Alone film. Family themes and slapstick torture of burglars. In this movie, what they try to do is make the married couple, the burglars, sympathetic characters. They're not trying to actually rob this family. They're not doing that at all. That's not what's driving their actions. And you sympathize with what they are trying to do. They're being stupid, but you sympathize with their actual family financial struggles that's driving them to take the action they're about to take. And so it's not actually fun to watch them being tortured by a 10-year-old kid. It doesn't work at all.
You think I'm that stupid?
Yes, I do.
But very much so, that the burglars are the lead characters. They have the character arc. They're the ones that are developed, and more time is spent on them than the child in this story. Which also leads to another big problem with this film, is that it feels like it needs to have all these Home Alone moments without actually following the same plot line. So because the story's not about the kid and him having a bunch of fun at home alone and his mom trying to get back, that's like the subplot in the film.
I'm trying to get home to my son.
The kid left home alone. He's a side character inside of this film. And so it does the mandatory moments where he is home and it montages through him wrecking the house and stuff like that. But it's not the focus. It just kind of shows that. And then we get back to the burglars and their financial troubles and what they're trying to do. And it's like the movie didn't trust that they had a child actor that could carry the movie. And so they wrote the script to not focus in on him. And it's very awkwardly structured too, because it tries to have the plot line about the mom getting back home to the kid. But it's such a minor part of the film that it's just awkward when it cuts to it because it's not really developed at all. It just needs to kind of be there. There's a lot of odd things like that. Like the kid's dad, the whole time throughout the movie, my wife and I were waiting for there to be a big reveal as to who it was. And is this going to be like a cameo of like the kid from Home Alone 3? Like, what's about to happen? Who's this guy going to be? And then when it's revealed who the dad is, we realize, oh, I guess they did introduce him at the beginning of the movie. They just awkwardly didn't show him in the middle section. And so it was as if the character was being hidden, which he wasn't. He just didn't show up. There's like a lot of odd things like that gets to what, at the core, this movie doesn't work. Because it's not really about a family trying to get back together. It's not about the kid learning to actually value his parents. It's like about a misunderstanding that leads to a couple that aren't really trying to do anything all that bad being tortured by a kid. And that's not really enjoyable to watch. And so I didn't go into this one as cynical as most people. I thought I was going to watch basically a rehash of the original with some updates for the 21st century, modern faces in it, and probably a lot of kind of being a little bit too slick and polished. I was expecting it to be mediocre, and instead I got a total ill-conceived movie that fails to understand what makes Home Alone work, what you want from these movies. And it's in particular frustrating because it felt like the cast were probably excited that they got to star in a Home Alone movie, only to discover it's a movie that totally misses the mark and does not understand how to pull out the big family emotions or have slapstick that's actually enjoyable to watch. Real quick before I give you my final score on this one, be sure to join me down below in the comments section. Let me know either your excitement level for Home Sweet Home Alone, or if you've seen it, what did you think about it? Also, I will be ranking all 6 Home Alone movies. Yes, in fact, there are 6 Home Alone movies this weekend. Be sure to come back to hear my thoughts on the entire franchise. Home Sweet Home Alone, unfortunately, is another example of a remake that completely misunderstands what made the original work in the first place. It tries to copy the beats and change stuff, and all it does is create a movie that doesn't work and has no heart. Overall, it's a C- on the entertainment scale of 4.5 out of 10, and you can skip this one. If you're in the mood for Home Alone, just go watch one of the original 3 films, depending on what kind of mood you're in. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to come back this weekend for my ranking of the entire Home Alone franchise, all 6 movies. Thank you so much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.